It's TGIF. It's Friday, and I have a movie for you, my AKA Padders, my fellow film buffers. Thank you so much for coming back to the show. Yeah, we're a obsessive film podcast. We just talk about our experiences with some of these movies. We talk about new movies, old movies. Usually during the day, I like to do something new, and at night, I like to do a documentary or something from the good old days. But today, we have another wonderful reason why you have to subscribe to as many streaming services as possible. Because I know many of you don't even know about this movie because you don't subscribe to Apple Plus. So let's go. We got to talk about Scott Derrickson's The Gorge.
Camera speed, sound production, take one. Action!
So I came in with this one. Scott Derrickson. You have to know this name. You have to know who this guy is. I fear we're in an age where, and this explains how Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, even Ridley Scott, these guys can still headline movies, meaning it's advantageous for the promotion and the marketing to put their names above films because of a certain brand association or quality association, all of these things. Even guys like Martin Scorsese, you know his movies, you know the name. But do we get that with the modern day guys? I feel like this movie is, by this point, by what Scott Derrickson has been involved in, just by the sheer magnitude of what he's associated with, his name should have been above this movie, and it's not. So are we in this downward cycle now where film directors are less and less and less meaningful? They cannot be used to market their own movies. I want to talk to you about this film because I like this film a lot. I think this film's fantastic. I just love big idea stuff like this. I'm just drawn to it. I don't know. That's just how I'm built, my AKA Padders. But we got a bigger problem here. So what else has Mr. Derrickson been involved in? Well, let's get into it. Just his feature film, right? His feature films. The films that he directed. 2000, Hellraiser Inferno. Okay. All right, we can let him pass on that. And then in 2005, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. A perfect ending movie, by the way, guys. 2008, wow, so many people came in so heavy against this movie. The day the earth stood still. Keanu Reeves wasn't quite back as Keanu Reeves, right? He doesn't quite return until we get John Wick. People just threw this movie under the bus. I think it's a good movie. I remember seeing it. I remember liking it. And here we go. 4 years later, 2012, writer director Sinister, one of the scariest movies of all time. No cap. 2014, Deliver Us from Evil. I try and say that as one word. It's Deliver Us from Evil, not evil, not Deliver Us from Evil. He's writer for Sinister 2. I just gotta say that because we spoke about that on the 31 Days of Dread. Writer director 2016, Doctor Strange. One of the best Marvel movies. 2021, came out of nowhere. Roundhouse, everyone, highly featured on the 31 Days of Dread. I'm talking to you about The Black Phone. And then 2025, The Gorge. And upcoming this year, he's double tapping this year. He's also writer-director for The Black Phone 2. He gave us one of the scariest movies of all time. He gave us one of the best Marvel movies of all time. And he's given us one of the best modern-day horror movies, The Black Phone. His name should be above this movie, and it's not. This entire film, we have a little bit of a hook. According to the trailer, the Gorge, like the Gorge, the middle of the Gorge, is a gateway to hell. And we just have two random people protecting it. but they become friends and they kind of fall in love. The trailer gives a lot away about this movie, but that's not the hook of the movie, and that's not really what's happening. I saw it, like, you kind of see the writing on the wall with that. The trailer is used to subvert expectations with this film. Not a problem. No big deal. Moving on. The hook of this movie is somewhat of, environmental. It's environmental and greed commentary. No different than any 80s villain. Sigourney Weaver plays the bad girl in this. She's so bad you want to see her die. So what's the point of this movie? Right? The point of this movie is not the Gorge. It's not these visuals that we get of, oh my god, it's hard to describe. It's like these decayed, cryptic, vegetative, park tree looking zombies, and some of them are like on horseback, and it's just eerie and creepy, and we're dealing with this like mutant gas kind that integrates and anything that like has a cell, like a human, a bug, and a plant, and it just merges, and that's what's in the center of the Gorge here. Our two protagonists, our two beautiful model people, end up in the middle of it, and they have to get out, and they get out in a wonderfully fantastic way. One might argue, here we go, Zach, we're talking about you. They get out in a Fast and Furious X way. Our writer, story only, I don't care, the 2023 Fast X. He is also part of Fast X Part 2, 2026. That's coming up next year. He's the writer of The Tomorrow War. He's also 24 Hours to Live, 2017. I'm talking to you about Zack Dean. Zack Dean is a legit writer. He's also someone of note. He's coming into his own. He's been in Hollywood for quite some time. This screenplay, so the screenplay supposedly was on, I want to call it the Blacklist. Yeah, the Blacklist, where it's somewhat of a consortium within Hollywood where they rank the unproduced screenplays. Isn't that crazy? That's how much fantastic. That's how many more movies have to get made in Hollywood. But yeah, this movie was like number one on the Blacklist for I don't know for how long. Let's just say for quite some time, because the concept is wonderful. So we get these luminaries, these guys within filmmaking that we gotta pay attention to. We get Anya Taylor-Joy as Darcy, and we get Miles Teller as Levi, who, like, even at this point, and I get that these are two stars in the movie, right? Like, this is we work for the same agency written all over it. I would have thought by now Miles Teller would have been in the run for Oscars and part of the biggest movies ever. I would have thought Anya Taylor-Joy would be the same. And they're peripheral actor and actress. They're always buzzing around something buzzing. I'll go on record, Miles Teller has been the best Reed Richards we've had on screen. I love his Fantastic Four movie. I don't know why. People hate it. Anya Taylor-Joy, we love her. We did her Morgan like a couple months ago on this podcast. That Morgan episode spiked. We did Furiosa, where we weren't to just not drawn into that movie. But whatever she's in, I pay attention to, because I think she is we've done The Menu, we've done so many movies from her. She is the most photogenic person in Hollywood right now. She literally looks like an anime drawing, and we're in an age where anime and manga is fully embedded in American culture. And you kind of want to say, like, why hasn't the Marvel Cinematic Universe even picked her? She was in New Mutants. She plays magic in that. She's perfectly cast, by the way. She does a Russian accent. We've seen that she does a Russian accent in this movie, or Lithuanian accent. But the MCU, Marvel Studios, hasn't resurrected her character. And you really want to say, let's just say Scott Derrickson. Like, let's say he comes back to work on Doctor Strange. He's got a working relationship with Anya Taylor-Joy. He has got to put Magic and Doctor Strange together in a movie. I believe that's one of the big ideas that would help save the MCU. Maybe I'll make a video about that on YouTube. So this movie, the Fast X moment. Let's get back there. The Fast X moment. They get out of the gorge by rigging a Jeep to get pulled up vertical on this mountainside, or this gorge side. And it's spectacular and it's wild. The Jeep explodes. They blow up a bunch of these zombie dudes, or the Hollows. This movie is also somewhat of a love letter to T.S. Eliot. I love it when they give us a broken character. Levi, Miles Teller, he has a conversation with Sigourney Weaver that wonderfully deconstructs who he is as a character and reveals everything you need to know about him. But they kind of have this soft side. We see him on the beach. He's writing in his journal. He's journaling, but he's a broken person, and whatever conflict he was in, whatever he witnessed, whatever he was a part of, still haunts him. So he's introspective, and we have a lot of T.S. Eliot ideas, just imagery, the words. I don't care. Apple has enough money to throw at everything. They have enough money to promote this movie. I think this movie is somewhat, people are aware of this movie. I've seen it on reposted on social media a few times. And if Apple, with all of their power, can lead more people to Google and to search and probably download free books on T.S. Eliot, please do. Right, this is a good thing. AKAPADers, for a Friday, I highly recommend this movie. I think between this and the Uncut Napoleon, these two are worth your subscriptions. And maybe, I guess, Severance. And we have to talk about that show too. So Severance, The Gorge, Napoleon. That's worth your Apple money. AKAPADers, I love you. Rock and roll.
Okay, that's a wrap.